Hello, hello, hello. It's Leslie Tagorda here with your Astrology Business StarCast for the week of March 7th through the 13th. So I'm curious to know, how are you enjoying this new format? I know that my friends over in my free Facebook group, the Savvy Luminary, have been just really saying how much they enjoy these shorter episodes because on Sundays when I give the Business StarCast, they can plan their week out, and then in the middle of the week, I drop the in-depth kind of learning. So I wonder how you are also enjoying this. So it's really interesting. The week of the 7th, the second week that we are doing these astrology focused episodes, the second week of March is so quiet. It's really amazingly quiet. I think over the last few years, if you've just gotten into astrology or, we're kind of going on withdrawal from like all of the bumpiness of 2020 and even the beginning of 2021, to have kind of a quiet week is like, oh, wait, is nothing happening in the sky? Of course, there's always something happening in the sky. I don't often talk about the moon transits because the moon moves so quickly and it's like it's pinging all the other energies so quickly. And that's why the moon and our moods, we go through them so quickly. So I don't often talk about the moon transits unless we're talking about the new moon or the full moon or the different quarter moons. So that's one of the reasons why. But this week, because it's so quiet, we're going to get to really talk about some of these upcoming moon transits. Aloha! Welcome to the Savvy Luminary, an astrology podcast for entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Leslie Tagorda, an Aquarius boss woman, a brand designer, and business astrologer. I help visionary spiritual entrepreneurs and impact makers just like you reach your highest potential and become the luminaries you are star charted to be. Before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about Mars moving into Gemini. So last week, Mars moved into Gemini. Normally, Mars moves through a sign in about once every 6 weeks. And so right now we're at that first week of Mars being in Gemini, and I'm wondering how that is currently showing up for you, right? Mars in Gemini gets a really bad rap because things can feel scattered, because we're rushing through things. We might have to redo things, or we can't focus. But I'm going to remind you over and over again while Mars is in Gemini to focus on creating dialogue and engagement, right? Because ultimately, anytime Mars shows up, it shows us where we need to take lead and to initiate and to energize and to prioritize, right? If we're not conscious, if we're not mindful of working with that energy, we can rush through things, we can get angry and assertive and aggressive and, frustrated. And that's what often shows up when we are really not being mindful of how to harness Mars energy in a really focused way. And so, of course, I'm saying focused in Gemini, and you're like, hey, what? So I wanted to answer a question. It's a question that I've seen on a number of groups that I'm in on Facebook about people asking, with their Gemini energy, what is this Mars in Gemini going to be like for them? So, if you have your sun in Gemini over the next 6 weeks, depending on what degree your sun is in, Mars will be hanging out for a day or two on top of your natal sun, or maybe you have your rising sign in Gemini like me, or your moon in Gemini. So anytime Mars is on top of one of our natal energies, it's going to give like this boost of energy, this drive, right? So if it's on your sun, so for all of my Gemini birthdays here, I know that Asha had asked the same question, and I know there's Sweta, who's a listener, who's Gemini. For your Gemini Sun Jupiter conjunctions, you're going to feel like this swell. So if our sun sign represents our creative resonance, like our creative vibrancy, like what we do so naturally well, like our soul is just emanating out our sun sign. And then we have Mars on top of it. We're going to feel motivated to do the things that we really love doing. We're going to feel motivated to do the things that really bring us joy and confidence, right? So that's how that Mars is going to feel like. So if you're already a Gemini person, you love chatting. You love chatting with your friends. You love chatting with people in your community. You love sharing ideas. So really, use this energy mindfully and do that, celebrate that. For those of us who have our Gemini in our moon sign, right? When Mars is on our moon sign, it can bring up the emotions of like, oh my gosh, I need to get this done now. It feels urgent. Or it can bring up, like, if we're not working with that energy consciously, it can bring up some anger or frustration, right? Our moon sign is our emotions and what we need. And so when, you can look at follow the degrees of Mars as it's moving through the zodiac, and look at your moon if you have moon in Gemini, and see when Mars will touch on your moon, and just notice, right? The biggest thing about working with these transits is it's not about like, oh, this is going to happen and we're going to predict this future. It's about noticing how these energies interact with ourselves. And there's no right way to notice, because everybody feels things so differently that, even if I have my Gemini rising and somebody else has the same Gemini rising, we might still experience that energy in different ways. So I really encourage you to keep a journal and write down your thoughts of how the energies of the stars, really the planets, are interacting with you and how that is expressing in you. Do you feel energized? Do you feel drained? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel calm? Do you feel angry and frustrated? Or do you feel like, I really am here to take lead and like initiate, right? Again, all of the same expressions of Mars. Now, if you have Gemini rising, right, as Mars is crossing over, you're going to really it's the leadership energy, Mars on top of your rising, like how you initiate and take lead, right? So double whammy. So towards the, closer to April for me with my Gemini rising, as Mars is going to be crossing over my ascendant, my leadership abilities will certainly come under fire somehow, in a good way, not in a bad way. Now, let's get back to the astrology. So I hope for all of you that had that question about Mars going through Gemini and how it's going to affect your natal chart, for everyone here, check to see if you have energies in Gemini, check to see what degree it is, and then you can go to astro.com and it'll show you the degree where Mars is today. And you can see, oh, Mars is getting really close. It's leading up to normally like 5 degrees or so before, and then the exact degree, and then 5 degrees after. You'll feel kind of that Mars kind of really energizing and activating your natal planet. So I would love to hear how that works out for you if you have any Gemini energies. So the biggest event of this week happens at the end of the week on Saturday the 13th. Okay, we will get there, but it feels like a whole week's of astrological events are reserved for that day on our new moon on the 13th, where Venus is also conjunct Neptune and Mercury leaves the shadow zone. So let me come back to there. Let's start with Sunday, March 3rd. So Sunday, March 3rd, there are no exact activations. We are still in the 4th quarter moon phase. We have a Capricorn moon that day. So, feeling like you got to get things done, right? So catch up on all the things that you need to get done on Sunday so that you can start your work week on Monday with a clean slate. You'll feel really supported that way. On Monday, March 8th, we have the moon moving towards the end of the day and the afternoon. It will be crossing over Pluto. So your emotions can get kind of intense just for that last end of the day, things feel really urgent, like you need to get things done. But as soon as the moon moves into Aquarius, things will feel a little bit lighter. There are no exact aspects happening that day. We are still building up to our Pisces stellium on Tuesday. The Sun and Neptune and Venus are all right now in Pisces. They're getting closer and closer and closer, towards the end of the week. The moon is moving towards all that Pisces energy. So we are still in that build up phase. Let's fast forward to Wednesday, March 10th, where we have the Sun meeting Neptune in the sky. So they will be exact on Wednesday at exactly 4:01 p.m. Pacific, 7:01 p.m. Eastern. And it's this time where this is going to feel like just this vibrant, powerful vision, right? The question that we're asking this day is, what makes you feel creative, artistic, imaginative, and connected to your highest self? Right? Things might not necessarily be so clear that day. Anytime we have Neptune in there, it's kind of dreamy, it's kind of effervescent, it's very imaginative. And so it's really a great day to do a creative project and let your imagination soar, excuse me. So, it's been quite a quiet time in the cosmos, as I mentioned, and it's much needed because all of this energy, we needed some downtime to just really integrate and feel into all of these different shifts. So today, as the Sun, our creative vibrancy, and Neptune, our visionary interconnected spiritualist, meet in Neptune's home of Pisces, right? The eternal ocean. We go through deep and meaningful interconnectedness to all. So, in your creative pursuits on this day, just be the channel to the creativity that was already created in spirit that now wants to be manifested on the earth. Like, that's that kind of interconnectedness that I'm talking about. Not just interconnectedness here on this physical plane, but also interconnectedness to the spirit plane. I know we are talking about business here, but as a business person, your ideas come from spirit, right? I know that if you're listening to me, you're on the same page there. So this will be a great time to also fine tune your spirit guides, get them in line with the vision that you want to create, or put together a vision board, all those wonderful things today for your business. Or, if you make music or you make art or you write for your business, also a really great day. So the quote for today is from Rumi. This is such an amazing quote that I've been using so much, of course, during this Pisces season. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. I've been talking to some clients lately with just a bunch of astrobrand readings the last few weeks, and I've been kind of adopting this and molding it a little bit to, you are not a speck in the universe. You are the entire universe in a being. So let this be the theme for today. How do you drop into the ocean, and how can you feel out into all the deep mysteries of knowingness? Is it a guided meditation? Is it watercolor? Is it singing mantras? Dive oh so deeply today and let your creativity and vision soar. Your spirit will guide the way if you let it. So if you are an astro techie, look to Pisces of 20 degrees, because that's where they'll be meeting, to find that sweet spot in your chart. The house that contains this connection point is where you will find more access to your divine. And then on Saturday, March 13th, we have our new moon in Pisces at 23 degrees. Happens exactly at 2:21 a.m., very early in the morning in the Pacific, or 5:21 a.m. Eastern. So all around the world, we will all have this new moon activation on March 13th. Before I talk about the new moon, I'm going to talk just a little bit about it, but really our next episode that will drop on Wednesday, I will do a deep dive into this new moon activation, what it means for you and your business, going house by house with all the different activations, and talking about Pisces on a deeper level. And you know me, I love my new moon rituals. So if you don't already have my book, New Moon Rituals for Entrepreneurs, you can find that at Powell's Bookstore online. They're a great indie bookstore in Portland, Oregon. Support indie bookstores. Of course, you can find it on Amazon. And if you already have that book, do a girl a favor, do a woman a favor, leave a review about that book on Amazon or Powell's. But I'm asking too much. I understand. I want one thing for you to do again is to mark your calendars for Monday, March 15th, because I'm holding a very special new moon ceremony. We will be planting our seeds of intention for our business, as well as using this amazing, dreamy, and imaginative Pisces energies with a sound healing with the beautiful Maria Santibanez. Oh my gosh. Here's a little sample of what she'll be doing for us.
So I invite you to close your eyes, settle into your chair. Getting comfortable and closing your eyes. Settle into this moment as you breathe in and out through your nose.
So we are doing this special new moon ceremony and sound healing on Monday, March 15th at 2 p.m. Pacific and 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing this for about 90 minutes so that you can clear your calendar for an afternoon or an evening of Monday meditation and intention setting. Yes, this new moon ceremony is going to be happening about 50 hours after the exact of the new moon, but we are still in the ripe of the new moon phase to plant our intentions. We're going to be doing things, of course, a little bit differently because we're going to be doing this sound meditation. And if you've been to one of my new moon ceremonies before, you know that I do these mini readings for everybody that attends, and you get these beautiful worksheets that have all of your reflections and journalings to help you get really clear on the intentions that you want to set for your business with that Pisces energies. And so during the workshop, when I normally give the mini readings, I'm looking at all of the energies. Because we're not going to have time to do that for the sound healing ceremony, what I'm going to do for everybody that registers is that I'm going to be recording a short Loom video for their new moon activation and sending it to them before the new moon. So if you've been here before, you'll get your Loom video with your mini reading. You'll get your worksheets for your reflections, and there's going to be some special, very Pisces ways of doing intentions. And so you're going to get that all before the actual new moon that happens on the 13th. So you can get really clear so that when you come to the ceremony on Monday, we'll experience the sound healing, we'll share what we want to intend, and we'll plant it right there. So you'll get a chance to do all of your reflection before, you'll get the worksheets, you'll get your mini reading and your worksheets so you can really set your intentions and come enjoy the sound healing. Because this day is so dreamy that we have to really honor this energy and not really be using our words to set intentions, right? Pisces is it's not so much as it's illogical, it's just that it's so visionary, it's so dreamy that words just can't contain all of that energy. There's no way for us mere humans to express what Pisces needs. So, part of the intention settings is that, you'll have a vision board, we'll be using sound, we're going to be using visuals, we're going to be using all kinds of different techniques to really plant the seeds in our business to run our business with more ease and flow and with support from the divine. That's what the new moon is about, this upcoming new moon. So I know I talked a lot about that. If you are interested in signing up, head on over to thesavvyluminary.com/new moon. On Wednesday, I'll be dropping a full episode on exactly what this new moon in Pisces means and all of the energies, the house activations for each one of us, as well as using the Pisces energy in our business and brand. So again, on the 13th, we also have our new moon in Pisces at 23 degrees. Later that evening, during the new moon on Saturday the 13th, Venus will be joining Neptune, one of the co-rulers of Pisces, at exactly 8:08 p.m. Pacific and 11:08 p.m. Eastern. And we also have Mercury finally leaving the shadow zone at Aquarius of 26 degrees. Holy smokes, am I going to be so grateful when Mercury leaves the shadow, because this one has been quite a doozy for this Aquarian boss woman. So on the 13th, it's a big day. You're going to plant your seeds to bring in more ease and flow and connection with the divine in your business and brand. And you're going to connect to spirit to get your vision really clear, right? And you're going to get to decide that day what ease and flow looks like to you in your spiritual business. And then when Venus conjuncts Neptune, creativity and imagination just flows, right? Neptune is really like the higher octave of Venus, meaning if Venus is connecting us to the people and the resources that we need to operate in this physical world, Neptune is that interconnectedness to spirit. Right. So this day, also on the 13th, not only is it a good day for setting your intentions, but it's a really great day to connect with soul level co-creators and customers. And hence, even when we do our new moon ceremony a few days later, we are carrying the vibration of this energy. Right. And so with the Venus and Neptune meeting in the sky, it is a great day to feel and create great beauty. The challenge, though, is to take that vision from so high above and bring it down to this earthly plane without losing this fleeting and intense love. Like this is like one love. Bob Marley's One Love. Capture this beauty not by holding on to the last detail of what it looks like, but instead by remembering in your heart and soul what this big vision feels like and how you are meant to embody it through your generous work that you offer through your business. And then again, Mercury leaves the shadow zone, woohoo, on the 13th also. So our thoughts finally start to flow quickly. What have you rethought about the future of your business is the big learning, right? You made it through our first full Mercury retrograde cycle. Mercury has left the shadow zone, meaning it's left the area of the sky where it first appeared to go backwards all those weeks ago. Your thoughts are now flowing freely. You most certainly have clarity of what you want for the future in your business. And, tech glitches be gone. For the next 2 days, only 2 days, yes, get your thoughts on paper so you can recall your ideas, because Mercury will just spend the last few days in Aquarius before it moves into Pisces, where Mercury, while still moving forward, when it hits Pisces, it's like, again, deep dive into the water. It'll feel in that state of dreaminess and abstract thinking. That's why for all the greatest like artists and musicians, you'll often see Mercury in Pisces, where they're not really always expressing themselves through just words and logical ways. So, Mercury in Pisces is a little bit like Mercury retrograde, but without all the tech glitches. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me for the astrology of the week. Join me for midweek, where we'll be talking about in detail about the new moon in Pisces at 23 degrees and how the Pisces energy works so brilliantly in our business and brand. Mahalo for listening to this brand new podcast. If you enjoyed learning about astrology for entrepreneurs, help me spread the word by sharing this podcast with your business besties, and hop over to the Savvy Luminary for links to episode notes and our free Facebook community, where you can send me questions about astrology or branding, as well as connect with other like-minded businesses.